All right, here's our last video for Chapter 2. We're going to do example 3 and 4 from section 2.5. We're going to continue talking about Venn diagrams and sets. And in this example, example number 3, we're going to make our own Venn diagram from the information that they've given us. So it says here 60 people were contacted and responded to a movie survey. The following information was obtained. 6 people liked comedies, dramas, and science fiction. 13 people liked comedies and dramas. 10 people like comedies and science fiction, 11 people like dramas and science fiction, 26 people like comedies, 21 people like dramas, and 25 people like science fiction. Whew! Use the Venn diagram to illustrate the survey's results. So let's take our results from this survey and put it into a Venn diagram picture. So we have our universal set, we have our square or our rectangle, and then we have the 3 different categories. We have comedies, C, we have dramas, D, and we have science fiction, S. And we want to take all of our numbers and put it into this Venn diagram, but we got to be careful. Remember before when we were making our Venn diagram, I said that the easiest way to do this is to start from the inside and work our way out. So let's do that. Let's start on the very inside where all of these 3 things overlap. So how many people liked comedies and dramas and science fiction all at the same time? Well, I got 6. So 6 would go inside there. Now let's work our way out. The next one says that 13 people liked comedies and dramas. Well, comedies and dramas would be the overlapping section right here. But now be careful. We can't put 13 here because there's already 6 people in that overlap, right? And so we've got to be careful. And so we actually have to take the 13. We have to subtract the 6 that's already there. And so 7 will be in this little section. Now I still have 13 people that like comedies and dramas, but there's some overlapping there that still like science fiction. So really only 7 people like just the comedies and dramas. Okay? All right. The next part says that 10 people like comedies and science fiction. So let's find the overlap there. So comedies and science fiction. Comedies and science fiction, their overlap would be right here. Now be careful. Did you notice that I already have 6 people in that shaded area? And so if there's 10 people total and I already have 6, doesn't that mean that there's only 4 that I need to put in there for a total of 10? All right, be careful. All right, 11 people like dramas and science fiction. Drama and science fiction. That would be in this overlapping area. Drama and science fiction, where those bubbles overlap. Now, did you notice again that there was 6 people already in that group? And so if there's only supposed to be a total of 11, that means there's only 5 left over in that section. Okay. Now, the next one says 26 people like comedies. Here's my comedy bubble, and 26 people are supposed to be inside. Do you notice that I already have 7 and 6 and 10 already inside that bubble? So I can't add 26 more because that would be too many. So if I have a total of 26, but I already have 7, and I already have 6, and I already have 4, then I have to subtract all of those out from 26 so that I can get the right number that goes here. I got 9, did you? That's 26 minus 7 minus 6 minus 4. So I can make sure that I have a total of 26 people in the comedy bubble. I want you to do the same thing for the drama and the science fiction. For dramas, we have 21 people. In this drama bubble, we're supposed to have 21 people. But remember, I already have 7, I already have 6, I already have 5, so I really only have 3 more left that need to go in that drama bubble. How many people like science fiction? 25? But remember, I already have some in that bubble. So what's 25 minus 4 minus 6 minus 5? So I have 10. So 10 would go in that outside piece. Now be careful. Isn't there an amount of people that don't like comedies and don't like dramas and don't like science fiction? So we've got to figure out how many people go outside that don't like any of these. Well, remember, they said that 60 people were surveyed altogether, right? And so if I know that there is 60 people total, but I already have all of these numbers, could I figure out how much is left over by subtracting all of that from 60? So I have 60 minus 9 minus 7 minus 3 minus 4 minus 6 minus 5 minus 10 and I ended up with 16 out here. Doesn't that mean that 16 people were part of my survey that didn't like comedies, dramas, or science fiction? All right, kind of tricky. You have to be careful. Make sure that you don't double up on your numbers and you have more than you actually do. Practice that. Remember, my clue here is to start on the inside and work your way out. Okay? All right, so let's do our last example, example number 4. Hopefully you didn't cheat and look down at that because we just finished filling out that Venn diagram in example number 3. But now that we have those numbers, let's go ahead and answer questions using that Venn diagram. Now that we have the Venn diagram filled out, could you look at that Venn diagram and tell me how many people liked comedies, but neither dramas nor science fiction? So how many people liked comedies, but not dramas or science fiction? Did you say 9? Perfect. All right. How many people like dramas and science fiction, but not comedies? Dramas and science fiction. So that's the overlap right here, right? But not comedies. Get rid of that. So did you say 5? Perfect. Okay. How many people like dramas or science fiction? I like drama or science fiction, but not comedies. And so that's 10 plus 5 plus 3. Did you say 18? All right. How many people liked exactly one movie style? How many people liked only comedies and only science fiction and only dramas? There weren't any overlaps. That's 9 plus 3 plus 10. Did you say 22? All right, we're almost finished. Part E, how many people liked at least 2 movie styles? If I like at least 2, that means I like 2 or 3, right? So here, they like comedies and dramas. These guys like science fiction and dramas. These guys like comedies and science fiction. And if I like 2 or 3, can I also include the ones in the middle? That's 4 plus 6 plus 5 plus 7. Did you say 22? All right, how many of them like none of the movie styles? They didn't like comedies or dramas or science fiction. Remember, that's the people on the outside? That's 16. So using that Venn diagram, putting in those numbers, I think really helps us answer these questions. It would be kind of hard to figure out all of those different numbers if I didn't have the Venn diagram picture. All right, practice making me a Venn diagram. Practice answering questions about the Venn diagram. Make sure that you practice all the different notation we've talked about in this chapter. Make a really good 3x5 note card with all the different notations, definitions, maybe some examples if you can fit it. Make sure that you're practicing with your homework. You're doing the reviews to get practice and extra credit. And let me know if you guys need anything before our chapter 2.